holiday problems. We've all encountered some kind of holiday problem before. Whether it's a bad hotel, a lost passport, mosquito bites, or severe sunburn. Let's hear from a couple of people who had some problems on holiday and how they dealt with them.
I recently travelled to Rome in Italy. In the end, it was a fantastic trip, but things didn't get off to the best of starts. The first day was a bit of a disaster. The taxi ride from the airport to the hotel was a nightmare. The weather was really bad. It seemed to start pouring down as soon as the plane landed. To make matters worse, the taxi got a flat tyre. I got out to help the taxi driver change it and I got soaking wet. I eventually arrived at the hotel and decided to spend my first night in my room to dry off and keep warm. Thankfully, the holiday only improved when I woke up the next morning. I visited the Colosseum and was amazed at how beautiful it was. I could imagine gladiators fighting inside over 2,000 years ago. The city of Rome is like a big open-air museum. There are so many ancient sites to walk around. Nevertheless, I decided to visit a couple of museums and art galleries to see some paintings and sculptures too. I went to the Galleria Borghese. It has several important paintings by Titian and Caravaggio, Italian artists from the 16th and 17th centuries. Their paintings are very beautiful and they seem to be quite dramatic too. The Capitoline museums were great to see. Made up of 2 palaces designed by Michelangelo in 1536. The Capitoline includes Roman statues, Renaissance art, and lots of ancient jewels and coins. Another highlight of my trip was the food in Rome. The pizzas and pasta were even tastier than I imagined. And the ice cream must be the best I've ever eaten. My holiday might have seemed like a nightmare on the first day, but it turned out to be the trip of a lifetime.
Last year, I went to Bogotá, the capital city of Colombia. It's a beautiful city in the heart of the Andes. There are lots of parks and museums. There's so much to do and see there. You can never get bored. I visited the Museo del Oro, or the Gold Museum. It is the most popular museum in Colombia. Here I discovered how gold was used by ancient societies that used to live in the area, which today is Colombia. More than 6,600 pieces are on display, which were found at archaeological sites across Colombia. There are masks, crowns, bowls, jewelry and armor. It's the perfect place to experience Colombia's rich and fascinating history of gold production. Cerro de Monserrate was an amazing experience. This mountain is over 3,000 meters high in the middle of the city. It offers one of the most magnificent views of Bogotá. I got to the top by taking the cable car ride. There were restaurants and a market where I bought some souvenirs. I was having such a great holiday in Bogotá. But 2 days before I had to leave, I suddenly had a terribly sore stomach. I went to the hospital and the doctor said I had got food poisoning. It was probably from a burger I had eaten earlier that day. The nurses looked after me very well, But by the time I was allowed out of the hospital, my holiday was over. It was time to fly home. Overall, Bogota was a wonderful experience, but I just wish it hadn't ended in hospital.
What kinds of problems have you had on holiday? Have you experienced anything similar to these stories?